Joining me now is NBC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Richard Engel. He is in Geneva. So, Richard, do we know what kind of progress was made during those meetings in Geneva, and what are the outstanding sticking points?
Two excellent questions, and this time the White House is keeping the draft very close to its chest. If you remember, the initial 28-point plan was criticized ferociously in Ukraine. It was criticized by European allies of Ukraine, European governments, analysts, academics, all said that what President Trump and his administration were doing was effectively handing Ukraine a list of Vladimir Putin's demands. A few you listed earlier, that Ukraine had to shrink its armed forces, that it had to remain neutral, no NATO, that it had to give up not just Donbass, but all of the provinces along the Russian border, 4 big provinces, including areas that Russian troops have been unable to conquer. Now there is no longer a 28-page proposal, according to Ukrainian officials. It is shorter. It has been somewhat streamlined after 2 full days of negotiations between the American side and the Ukrainian side here in Geneva. The delegations have now left this city, and now President Zelensky will go and discuss the outstanding issues, the proposal that seems to be have been reached or close to being reached, according to Secretary of State Rubio, directly with President Trump, and President Trump will discuss it directly with Vladimir Putin. So we don't know exactly what the new draft says, but we know the Ukrainians are much more pleased with it and find it much more acceptable than the 28-point plan that they were initially presented with, which many believed was a complete capitulation to Vladimir Putin's demands.
So, Richard, is the sense then that we may actually be getting closer to negotiating an end to the war compared to these previous diplomatic efforts?
It's possible because even with the worst of the drafts from Ukraine's perspective, the 28-point plan that they hated so much, and talk in Ukraine that the soldiers wouldn't follow it and that it could be the end of the current government, and it might be the end of the current government. It's not entirely clear that that Zelensky, as popular as he's been throughout the course of this war, will survive the next phase. He might end up being a Winston Churchill type figure, beloved during wartime, not so much when the war is over. But even that plan, which the Ukrainians found so troublesome and loathsome, was about ending the war. Now they've refined that plan to something they think they can work with or advance to the next rounds of negotiations, president to president, Zelensky to Trump, Trump to Putin. Both of these are about ending the war. So it's not that there's a third track here about talking about escalating the war, but how long it takes, I think, is still very much an open question. Maybe by the end of the year, maybe early next year, but Vladimir Putin said that he thought the initial 28 plan would be a good basis for solving the war. Zelensky has now said that this plan has improvements and he's going to take it up with Trump. So it does seem to be heading in the direction of finding an end to this conflict. Yes.
Okay. Richard Engel on the ground for us in Geneva. Richard, thank you for that report.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.